Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Farah. Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about 90 Day Fiance, Season 7. It's Episode 8, Forza live recap. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't know what Forza is. You're going to have to tell me what that was. I don't know what Forza is. Now, again, that could be a line in a movie that I'm just not quite sure, but that's really bad for me. I should know more pop culture, like really intense movies that everyone knows. So tell me where it's from, because now I realize that it's big enough of a thing where I should know what that is, and I don't know. But we're definitely going to talk about this really fun episode. I really like this episode of Toe, and it's because I realize I didn't quite put the toe part on the thing. My bad. Hi. Anyway, so yes, I really enjoyed watching this episode. I definitely have. Hi. I definitely have thoughts and pictures, all of it. I noticed all of the beauty products that were used, and then I made a Substack. Just, like quick note where I went over, and I will go over some of the things I saw. But it's so funny because Matt Marr, who talked about this last week with me, he is such a big fan of these summer Fridays. And also isn't every kind of cute 14-year-old, like my nieces are obsessed with these ones. So is Chloe. Ha ha ha. But as we kind of wait a little longer as people to populate, I'm just gonna pop one on. I'm gonna pop on the poppy, which is obviously a coral, which is what I'm giving anyway. So um I really I really like this episode for a lot of reasons. Because I think I'm going to start with Chloe. I was down for the sass that Chloe gave, even though I understand that she's entitled. I just feel like she's snappy as fuck. She's a quick, witty girl. And she's kind of like a little bitch, but I don't mind that so much because I understand her point. And I feel like the other guy is just kind of being an asshole to friend. So let's get into it, shall we? We'll maybe start at 3 minutes. It's 2:45. I'm, by the way, so happy to go over the rest of the week with you, sister wives, and then the Love is Blind. So that's all happening. Happy Halloween, my loves. Can you believe the end of the month? We're in it. You should have your Halloween costumes already. I definitely don't have mine, but okay, honey, Chloe and Johnny. Okay, so obviously, Chloe has come hot off the fact that she and her friend Cariana, who again, her's her bestie, who lives in Aruba, and she just met her at a bar. One of those moments where she just walked in a bar, made eye contact, was like, "That girl's cute," and then that girl looked back at Chloe, and the eye contact was also, "I like her. That girl's cute," and in that very quick exchange of "I like you," best friends were born. A tale as old as time. So anyway, she's going to come out to go drinking with Johnny and Chloe. And I like what Chloe's wearing. It's kind of like a black asymmetrical top. It sort of gave me like Marcella, New York a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Someone said Johnny has 6 kids. No. I'm going to tell you right now, Joslo, if that's true, then that's going to have to be part of the season. Hi, babe. Hi. If he has 6 kids, then it has to come out. That should be like one of those I have a secret to tells. Every season it should have happened by now, because it usually gets introduced, not if not the first episode of a couple, the second or third, which is this, yeah, I'm so excited to meet this person, or in this person's country, and now we're obviously there, but there's a secret I haven't told them, so that'd be a great, there's a secret she doesn't know yet, which is 6 kids. Could you imagine? Also, by the way, and by we I mean me, her mom's coming. This is just the first 2 or 3 days. Her mom's coming, which I'm thrilled about. So he doesn't drink, she does. Her friend, obviously, Kariana's coming, and then his friend Keener is coming too, and Chloe does not like him. And one thing is she's in Aruba. It's like, obviously a lovely warm environment, and she is getting eaten alive, and she's like, my elbow cannot stop itching. I think there's a mosquito problem here. And I wanted to be like, I mean, problem's relative. Mosquitoes could be like, I think there's a Chloe problem here. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, there's that problem. They're here. Yeah, and they like to eat. I truly think that not enough research is done to why certain mosquitoes bite certain people and not others. And it could just be like pheromones or smell, but I need there to be a better answer, a definitive answer, one that I can change the course of my smell or mask, whatever is so alluring, because I do get eaten alive. I don't know if I gotta go to Aruba. I also don't like to be on pirate ships. Drinking on the water, like drinking on a boat, not even like a cruise liner truly appeals to me. But anything smaller than a cruise liner, like um usually spells seasickness, absolute throwing up. So Jolly Pirates would never be for me. I can't imagine going on and meeting the love of my life. But then what if, like, unless he was like holding back my hair as I threw up, and then maybe I really would be so taken back by some person's nuanced caretaking ability and also seeing me at my worst that I would just fall in love. But truly, I can't imagine that. So once we get for drinks at this lovely like outside bar area, they're sitting at picnic tables. The girls come clean pretty fucking quick that they've been spying on him. And mostly Chloe tells him at first, and he's supposed to not like it, but his first glimpse of his eye when she tells him she spied on him all day was kind of like that he liked it. Didn't you see that? She was like, well, I spied on you. And he was like, what? A little bit. I think that he really is infatuated with Chloe because she's just so young. He's men like him, like, will really lose their shit over someone who's like 20 fucking 3. Which is LOL, because they really should be giving that commitment and energy to someone who, I think is probably more apt to build a life with him, like someone who's gone through life experience and who, you know, can see him for the good and the bad in a way that young people just can't. But he's not, and that's the choice he made. And now, we know that this is not going to work. But, I do want to see Chloe and her mom. So anyway, at this moment, they talk about trust and location sharing and stuff like that. He really wants her to just trust him. And I think that we're supposed to think that she's crazy for wanting to location share and such. But I don't think that way, because I feel like she's kind of a young girl on this island all by herself. Like, I don't think it's that bad that she wants to location share. I would think that you should want to know where she is too. Not that Aruba's like scary. I'm just talking about most times in which I go somewhere to a place where there's only one other like major person I know and love and trust, like, roaming about. I usually do want to know their contact, like where they are. I mean, I don't always ask this, but like, for instance, if you're going to go to Disneyland with one other person, why wouldn't you share location? And I'm not saying Ruba's a Disneyland, but she's like not in her hometown. I feel like it's totally normal for her to want to be like, I want to know where you are. I also want you to know where I am. But that's not what it is. So, at this point, his dumb friend that she hates, Keener, is about to come over and say hi. But right before then, we get a little pass, honey. And the pass is her to her friend right there. And I was like, ooh. That's the cherry one. I actually do own it, but who knows where it is in this moment. You'd think I would have it on me. I don't. I'm so sad. But I do like these products. I think that like they're a really good mix of texture of a lip slash butter slash moisturizer product and gloss because it's not sticky at all, which is great. There's really only the cherry, this for me. I mean, okay. So Maddie, if you are, also a paler person, can really get into that pale sugar. I think he likes pink sugar. But for me, poppy, pink guava, and the cherry. So they put it on. He comes over, and I'll tell you one thing. Keener's hot. He's also smiley. And these boys have gotten in trouble together. We can see him again. I mean, what very white smiles. These men like get down. Like, when they walk into a bar, girls throw their panties at them. They know. She knows. The way that Chloe holds her ground is kind of exciting because what ends up happening is, obviously they tell now both girls are there and they talk about the spying on him. And what the crux is supposed to be is that she does not want Johnny to go out with Keener. And we're supposed to be like, no, girl, you're supposed to allow him to go out. But we see Keener and we see Johnny, and we're like, no, those two don't have to go out. Chloe, you're right. That's how I feel. I don't know. There's just like a devilish air when those two get together. Like, like look here comes trouble for sure when those two people walk by. So she gets that. She knows it. She probably saw Keener first and then was like, Johnny, Keener, oh my God, Johnny, like it's time to get in your arms and go up the plank to the mast, climb the pole, whatever. Not a big marine seafarer girl. And those words are not coming to mind as quick as I wish they would. He wants to be like, you have to let him go out because he's sacrificing a lot to be with you. He doesn't have to be with you. He could be living alone. And Keener really wants Chloe to feel like the choice would be better for Johnny to be single and live alone, and that that he's giving up his singlehood, his living alonehood for Chloe, and that Chloe should almost like get down on bended knee and thank him for that. And Chloe's like, no, bitch, I moved and gave up everything I know, my country, my family, like low key my future, because my mom has built some who knows empire that I could just have taken over willy-nilly, but I fell in love with a jolly pirate, ho ho ho, and this is a life for me, I guess. And she's like, also, yeah, he's not losing by getting with me. He's actually getting like a girlfriend that lives with him. Sure, I can't put on a stove, so I can't cook. So, but there's other things I do. I think that she is, yeah, really snappy and bitchy with him. Quick, quick, quick. And the way that she is quick with Keener is this thing I guess I understand, which is you can outrun a bully by your intellect and wit by just throwing words at someone. I'm not saying it's like verbal abuse in a way. I'm not saying it's good, but you can kind of, if you want to, if you're snappy, make someone feel dumb, right? And she has that power. Now, here's the thing. I certainly hope it wasn't and hasn't been used against girls, but there was something about the snappiness. It's almost like Taylor Frankie Paul or one of those like alpha girls that we see. It's funny because I had already told you I think Chloe looks like Renee Rapp, who was Regina George in the Mean Girls musical movie, also of course on Broadway. So she has that energy that is like, I'm going to kill you quickly with energy and words. Quick. So anyway, he doesn't know how to deal with it. He's like, ugh, ugh. He like backs off. And she's like, yeah, bitch, back down. I'm 22. That's the other thing. If this scene's happening and she's like tearing apart some young girl for no reason, that'd be really sad. But also, these two dumb fucks are wildly older than this girl. And so I think just like the feminist in me is like, fucking get him. Get him. It's so funny. Her friend can't do anything. Like her friend Cariana can barely get a word in edgewise. She's coming after not only Keener, but also Johnny. She's really pissed. She says, she asks Johnny to defend her, and she's like, you better not be Switzerland. And she also said, like, the Justin Bieber quote, which is that she stands on business. Honey, she stands on business. I'm here, I stand on business is such a, hmm. Well, it's such a very funny thing to say, right? Especially for like someone who's young, especially for someone who's like not a business person, like Jeff Bezos, or I'm trying to think of Meg Whitman. Wow. I need more like women CEO names just to come to mind. People can be problematic, that I just said, of course, but I'm just like trying to think of like, people that stand on business. Anyway, so this is going to be really interesting for Johnny because Chloe wants Johnny to give her his location and not go out with Keener, but also she wants him to admit that him wanting to go out with Keener means that he's going to go out and like be a little bit of like a party dude. Because Keener is like not about to go out to like trivia night. And that's what's annoying to me. It's like they're not saying that. Like they want to be like, "Oh, you have to let me go out with my friends sometime." And it's like, "Yeah, bitch, you can go out with your friends to one of their houses and like fucking play werewolf with them and their girlfriends." You know what I'm saying? Like, couple night or whatever. You need to go out with this asshole and his like freshly veneered teeth and smile at every blonde that comes off the, plane from Florida. Like, like that's obviously what you guys are going to do. You're not going to go see like some art house movie and then talk over it plot points like over like a French brasserie table and a cigar. Like that's not your fucking vibe. His vibe is like knee deep in a group of like drunk women, like, just like trying to like threesome it up. We all saw that. Chloe's not only Chloe knows it, but she's not going to be made a fool on national television. And she wants Johnny to be smarter of like the way it looks, but Johnny isn't that smart. First, mhm. The reason why they're together, even though he's older than her, is because mentally they're the same. I'm not saying she's mature. It's that thing where, like they tell that women mature faster than men, but like that's supposed to be like girls over boys, or I guess like babies or whatever. Because he certainly has had a life experience with like stuff, and remember all the things about his mom and going through that. He should have a little more sensitivity to creating a future with someone if that is what his goal is. But I mean, I don't know. The person he picked doesn't seem future material. And the way he's acting with the person he picked, even though he loves her, isn't, like boding well for someone who wants to build trust. Not either one. Okay. So let's move on to Manon and Anthony. So they go to a beautiful bakery, honey, and they're just really butchering the French language. Anthony has been trying to learn French, but he's doing that thing that we used to do like in the 90s. Well, anyway, we still do it. With Spanish and French, we do that thing where we speak it with the worst rhotic accent ever. Rhotic, like being, I think I already said this, but hard R sounding. Like, oui, mademoiselle. It's like I really didn't say an R word there, but you can almost hear the in it, right? Like, and there's a lot of R's in Spanish, but it sounds different. So to be like, Yeah, I'm not going to butcher more languages, but he is butchering French. I think that I used to hear people butcher Spanish a lot and have it be like not as problematic that it would be now, which is good. So he is doing his best and throwing out his words. And he is like, look, I really know the word say and I really know de. So a lot of like, and cat. So, which, un, deux, trois, quatre. So it is two. I'll have two, which I get. As we already know, because I've obviously brought it up every time I talk about this, because this is my French connection, is that obviously I did study abroad. One of the things in college when I was in France is that like I really got comfortable with the phrase I would like. Je voudrais. Je voudrais. Like, je voudrais un Coca-Cola Light, s'il vous plaît. I would like obviously everything you use to order. Um, and then also where is Uwe? Anyway, but he's throwing out his isms. And listen, he gives me one of my favorite at the end. He gives a lovely le tuteleur to the baker. And quickly Manon is like, no, you won't. And le tuteleur like means see you later. And she says, no, you won't to the baker. I want to be like, why not? Are you never going to come back to this bakery again? Is this not in your hometown? Because if this is like, your neighborhood baker, how lovely to say le tuteleur. We all want to live a moment of like the bell opening of Beauty and the Beast where we know our bakers, we know our booksellers, and we're just like, hi, bonjour, obviously. But really, yeah, that rhotic sound comes like instead of saying bonsoir, bonsoir, right? We get the crux of the episode, which I don't know if they really talked about this or if they glossed it over, but I just thought it was somewhat interesting that it like didn't seem like it was a major thing until now, which is that Ben's going to have his baptism here, and that it's a full Catholic baptism, and she talks about the fact that this is like a family cultural thing for her, even though she's not super religious, and that she had to like give in to his family all the time because they lived in America. And he says that he's upset the fact that Ben's getting baptized, but he understands this to be true. And the truth of the matter is, we've seen him kind of be a little bit of a, you know, an underdog to her the majority of the time. But I get this because there is kind of like a cultural relevance to religion in certain places, and the pageantry of all of the masses. I mean, maybe because I was raised Catholic, I do kind of enjoy. So she's upset because she's always upset because her whole family is going to get together once she hasn't seen for a long time. And she always has a victim mentality going in. I'm not saying she hasn't been, but she definitely like catastrophizes. That's the word. She always assumes the worst, right? She always thinks that she's going to go in and her family is going to just like start shouting obscenities at her. So we get Ben, and he enjoys his little like fun dunk. And we also get a shot of her sister. Her sister and her aren't really close, so she decided to make her sister a godmother. In this moment, I'm like, cool. Are we gonna get a confessional of the sister? Didn't that find like why are we not getting her sister to talk immediately? This is her sister. I don't understand how we've just been okay. Here's the thing: we got a lot of Manon being like, my family hates me, but my family, body shames me, all of that. We get a shot of her sister standing by her. Her sister is, looks different from her. If you're going to set all this stuff up, that they have like kind of a weird relationship, but they're, she's the godmother, why not get her point of view? Let's go to the sister. What do you think, sis? Is it weird to have your sister back? You haven't seen her in 10 years? Did you ever go to America? Like, did you ever think about that? I don't know. So because and the reason why is then we just cut from the ceremony to a dinner, and we certainly have a camera on them and a camera on her parents, and she's throwing them back, and it's mojitos, and they're strong. And she talks about how, of course, her family stresses her out, so it makes sense. They start to have like sexual flirtatious banter over the word sausage, about his American sausage. It's revealed that she certainly hasn't given him a blow. She has not given him a blowjob, and I think they said like 7 months to 12 months. It's been like we got that piece. Although he also makes sausage in the morning or whatnot, and she also has consumed that. She's He's like, well, this is embarrassing. We're talking in front of your family. She's like, they don't speak English. Her sister is like looking at them in that very moment. I want to know, okay, great. Can we now cut to her sister? I do speak English. She doesn't know who me, and she hasn't been in France for 10 years. I fully speak English and I know what she's saying, and she's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Wouldn't that be funny? I'm just saying, wouldn't it have been great? Nope, we don't get it. We do get her getting drunk, and then we get this weird thing where Ben's like, "Hey," oh, sorry, Ben. Anthony, Anthony's like, "Hey, Ben's getting tired. Also, you're getting really drunk and it's awkward. And I know when I see the signs, when your eyes start kind of rolling in the back of your head and gets glassy, that I should get the fuck out of here. It's better for me to do that than that way. If you get drunk and sloppy, really only your family sees it, and I get to just be home with my favorite person in the whole world, Ben." Anthony's kind of like, let someone else be with that baby. You know who should be with that baby? If Ben is getting tired, you know who should take the baby home? Grandmama. Let grandmama take her home. No one knows the way home like grandmama. No one gets to have more time like grandmama. Also, Ben seems like Ben has some attachment issues, notably to Anthony. So we should like try and break that up a little bit. Anthony, you should stay with the adults and with your wife. Isn't that kind of also the thing about you being here to like work on yourself? Now, I'm not saying that she isn't doing messy shit, but I also feel like he's so not it for me. I mean, he's like the wettest noodle. He is the limpest handshake. I mean, I don't know. There has to be a better word for that kind of person. I'm going to look it up. There's just something so weak about him, unfortunately. And it doesn't seem like he has like the wherewithal and like foresight to be a strong member of a family. He seems like he should be a member of a very large family. Like I almost feel like he should join like a polyamory or polygamous couple or something. Like because I don't think gives enough to the relationship. Like he doesn't give 50-50. Like she has already been doing, let's just say, like, because she's like been, really making sure that they all have like money and stuff like that. And she also gave birth to the baby, like, and so she, had to like do that kind of stuff. She's already been doing like 65%. And his way of stepping up would be to like do other stuff. And every time he tries to do that, he just goes back to like the 45% he does and buries in. It's just not enough to be like in a functional relationship. He would just have to be with like many other people and they all give so that there's 100% math made equation by multiple sources because it's just never going to add up with him, and someone's going to have to like give too much. It's rude. Seems like he just wanted a baby. He should have just like I almost said rented. He should have just adopted. If you're going to like not be there for someone, I don't know. Like, why have him there? What is she getting from him? You could say she's getting a good dad for her son. And I would be like, she's also getting, I think, a co parent that is somewhat impeding her relationship with her son. So I would hazard, like, not quite. He can say that he wants her to connect more, but like he needs to know, I guess, how to provide the opportunity and space for her to do that by getting out of the goddamn way. And like getting out of the way and then taking up some of the slack that she's doing in other places so that she can get in there. But it's like he just wants to step aside momentarily and have her do something as the world he feels crashes around them and he doesn't pick up her slack. You know what I'm saying? She really can easily cry about feeling failure, notably around her relationship with having moved to America and having built something and then having enjoyed her life in LA and then not having that anymore. And then that's somewhat tied to wanting to like either get back there or build something back. I can't quite tell if her end game is like this respite retreat in France while she lets her parents take care of Ben and also get, I don't know if she's trying to get Anthony like away from his family so that he is forced to do something else. Like, but it feels like her end game is to be in France for like not that long. Even though she says she wants to like get a home, it mostly feels like she wants to rent a home and then somehow get her family back on track as fast as possible to get back to LA, right? Okay, so let's move on to Patia and Dylan, honey. Okay, so we pick up my loves and we are driving through beautiful Tasmania. Taz, as we're going to call it. He's like, welcome to Australia. It's like, I mean, gorgeous, just breathtaking, like mind boggling. Is this real shots of nature? Also, a lot of kangaroos. You know, I realized that he brought her a kangaroo. You know, he's really happy to show off that like culture and she's into it. You know, in the morning, he's making his routine known. He is a regimented person. He obviously works out. He in his mind wants to look fit, be fit, maybe because it's related to his work. He had talked about the fact that he was of course an exotic dancer. But in this episode, he talks about having diversified his income by buying properties, flipping them, and then renting them out. And he had bought a place for them, flipped it, and for them to live. And so already we're really happy because we like the fact that this person thought about creating a safe home environment for someone. It's funny because when he talks about not knowing 100% if he can commit 100%, I don't know if that's real because how can you buy a home for you and someone you've already known for 7 years and live with someone and then not know if you can commit? But I know they want to have stakes. She's wearing a purple like long robe. Oh, sorry. She's wearing a purple long like satin shirt and I have a picture of it. Because I didn't quite know at first what was happening. I was like, is this the neckline which has fallen off of your shoulder and like thusly like ties in a bow behind and you have seemingly a perfectly toned raspberry fuchsia bra that matches? But no, that's the shirt. What an interesting style shirt. The home is lovely. He's put in a subway tile in the kitchen. That's really, really nice. They have to get a couch. They know that. He likes simplicity. He likes structure. She's nothing like that. She is fun. She's va va boom. You should see her laundry basket. It's hell on earth. And that's my laundry basket. My laundry basket is, I mean, I hate it. I hate laundry so much. Like, for some reason, laundry is like my biggest foe. And I guess it's a front of me because I love clothes and I love to, like, put on something that makes me feel good. And I mean that in so many ways, right? Not just like, oh, I'm gonna wear something that like makes me look sexy. Like, I literally love to also put on like something that literally feels good, like soft, cozy. Um, but to have all that, that means that you have all that. And then at some point you have to wash it and like deal with it. That's a nightmare, right? And she thinks it is too. Listen, he just has these muscle shirts. He has barely anything. His laundry is like nothing. And he has all these homes. It's easy for him to wash. And he has like a strong back. It's easy for him to do that. And he probably doesn't even have to like fold. Who knows what he does? But again, it's like this difference. And her messiness and his structure. And we've already talked about her credit card bills and, maybe like a materialistic and or overconsumption thing. Maybe a maximalistic style is going to like not vibe with someone who's like minimalistic, who like doesn't have nary a nick, nary a knack on any surface, and that's going to like even dive more. So in the next morning, he's making food. She's in like a cloudy, one of those kind of like murky robes, and I know this to be the Boscia luminizing black mask. You put it on, and yeah, it tightens, 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 and gets a really kind of like shiny, very tight surface, and then you peel it off like glue, like Elmer's glue. Not exactly like Elmer's glue when you would do that as a kid, but kind of like that. It kind of gives like a moment of like that. I love her. She's fabulous. So she's just enjoying her life in the morning, but she's like, "Okay, you're just gonna, like, make food? Alright," and he's making salmon, brown rice, and asparagus. He's like, "Yep, 379 calories." And she's like, "Great, no seasoning? Nothing on there? Just, like, not even nothing?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can't do it. I have the same meal every day." And then he tells us his meal. His meal is 100 kilograms or grams, one of them, tiny bit of the metrics, I don't know, okay? But it definitely wasn't pounds. One of them, 100 of kangaroo, 100 kilograms or grams, whatever, I'm so sorry, of rice, and 100 of broccoli and or green beans. He eats this 2 to 3 hours every day, like with a space of 2 to 3 hours every day, around 5 times a day. He knows all the macros. It's like a math thing. That's what he does. He eats to live. He does not live to eat. Now, if this conversation, which the producers have aired, is because, of course, people are going to discuss this. This is a discussable topic. We're like always in this world talking about food and how people look. And in this very much day and age, we're kind of back into a world of like people getting super fit, super skinny, we're like, and people are using, different medications, and people who, for their health could really might be really great to, get some less fat around their organs, or using that. All that to say, there's a lot of trigger warning, like ED talk, as you know, like on TikTok, and like the, skinny talk and all that stuff. And like, there's just the tides and aesthetics have shifted back to like a more like 90s acceptance of, uh, you know, the diversity of bodies on the smaller side. I'm trying to say this the nicest way possible. All that to say, he has a very regimented age way of eating. Now, I've never been an athlete, but I'm assuming that a lot of athletes eat this way, right? Like, I'm assuming that if you were like a top athlete, you do. Or like if I'm assuming you have to. He works out for sure. It's interesting because when you are so regimented or so regulated about your eating, it can definitely be a little red flaggy to people if if you know what it's like to have like food insecurity or like and think about food in a way. He wants to like, you know, I don't know how to say this. I think there might be some people that might be like he has an eating disorder. And then I can't even tell you if those people are right or not. Because I think everything is a spectrum. I think that some people could be like, well, what's it like when he goes out? Will he ever if he went to, you know, on vacation, would he enjoy food or would he be in his mind about every morsel and calorie on it? Or he talks about cheat meals and such. How often do they happen and what do they really look like? She's really offended because he's like, yeah, Easton, when you cook, it's like a cheat meal. She's like, no, it's not. I'm not making like Alfredo pasta. I'm making like chicken that's flavored. He's like, you use sauces. She's like, a little bit. He's like, you use oil. She's like, a tiny bit. He's like, you don't measure. She's like, I eyeball. And so it's like the perception. A little oil is not bad. Is he not using any oil? You need fats. He knows he needs, I mean, I'm assuming he knows he needs fats. Everyone needs fats. Like the thing about being good about macros or whatever is that I'm assuming that you have taken like a healthy standpoint to know how many of the things you need. Everyone needs fat. Everyone needs complex carbohydrates, which break down to sugar. Everyone needs protein, but you can get those things in a lot of ways. And the exact measurements are, on you and, God bless. And obviously, it's not great to just have a fucking full diet of just full saturated fat, chemicals, and sugar. So we don't know how much he's playing up. Don't know what kangaroo tastes like. I never want to know. I know that. Okay. I think that there is like something to eating regimentedly throughout the week, especially if you meal plan, right? Especially if you're someone who's on the go, works out, works a lot, needs to not think about food so that you can have healthy, good options. And I understand that. So that means like on a Sunday, you're going to make some protein options. Maybe you weigh them so that that, the portion for each day so you know that you're getting enough and you cooked enough. And if this is your way of eating Monday through Thursday, maybe at Friday lunch, you go get lunch somewhere, and the weekends you get to do whatever you want, and that seems normal, or and by normal, balanced or whatever. We don't know how he eats all the time, but we definitely know the way he talked about it was strict. And we definitely know that she finds it strict. And we're going to have to see in real time how they work around that. Because to me, she eats healthy. If I was to judge a book by its cover. Which I know I shouldn't do. And I'm not just judging, like, I'm not saying like, oh, she looks within healthy weights and she, whatever. Like, it's not about that. I'm like saying for the movement that she does and her sprightness and her gait at her age, coupled with her skin and hair health, to me, the woman looks like she eats a well balanced diet. Truthfully, wow. I wonder if she takes into account, like omega-3 fatty acids in avocado, olive oil, and salmon. Because it is really, really healthy for her. So she's living her life thinking about how she's gonna have to like sneak around and get some goddamn garlic salt or something or whatever, because this is not the life for her. And then his mom calls. And his mom does the thing that no sane person does. No sane person does this. Hi, I'm in the neighborhood. I know that you aren't alone. I know that someone is staying with you and you and that person have just got reunited. I'm going to insert myself immediately and without like request by demand. I'm in the area. I'm coming over. Now, we also know that has to be a producer thing. Because we know Patty to be a seasoned lady. And we know that if she thinks that he's a mama's boy, and that is the crux of the relationship. In fact, not she said 90% of the arguments they have over this. The minute that she was in that mask, or no, the minute that she was, you know, in that robe, not dressed, and she was told that the mom was going to think about coming over, she would have to have put her foot down and be like, no, oh no, sorry, nope. Oh, honey, not now. Maybe in a couple of hours. We just woke up and I have to do some unpacking. If I'm having some issues, some Wi-Fi issues, I'm so sorry. The ghosts, honey, the Halloween ghosts are running amok. But then we get his mom who comes over, and her mom's like, his mom is like, "Hi, nice to see you, Patty. You look great." And he's like, "Yeah, my mom, as you know, like always thought you were so beautiful." And the mom's like, "I've always liked Petia. No, 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 no. It's her that didn't like me." And it's really sad. It's really sad. It's because she thinks that she can get in the way between me and my son. Well, she'll learn, won't she? Like, it was really kind of mommy dearest vibes. I, after this morning, was like, Petia, haven't you realized this isn't the one for you? This was like, he's crazy and the mom's crazy. And what a beautiful job of like certainly giving a veneer that this would be ideal. You have this quote unquote handsome man. He to me gives uncanny valley, but God bless. You have the beautiful outback. You have a gentleman, this man, who wants to seemingly provide for you a home with income just passively coming from other income properties. You have him, he has a loving mother. It's like all of that is fine and dandy, and he likes to take care of himself. He in fact wants to cook for you. You're like, "Okay, what's the problem?" It's because it's the worst possible food and a psycho mom. And you will have to live on kangaroo. Does she eat kangaroo? Is she going to eat kangaroo? Was he eating like that in Thailand, and was he eating like that in Vegas? Only because if he ate like that in Vegas, can you imagine? That's discipline. Oh my God. So many buffets in Vegas. Anyway, yeah, I I thought it was so interesting. I did like the fact that when his mother, Jo, comes over, she does come over with flowers and then Australian biscuits. And I want to be like, does he eat those biscuits? Does he like try and micromanage what his mom eats? Does his mom know his diet, and does she have any opinions? Because definitely, I don't think those biscuits are on his diet. Like those are like enriched white flour with a bunch of packaged. He must have been like, get those out of my fucking house. She's like, welcome to Tassie. Enjoying some brekkie? I cannot do that accent to save my life. Yeah. Just like some 7-minute eggs, some avocado, some fruit. And I hate to be so Instagrammy, but I do kind of like overnight protein oats. Like I like overnight oat protein oats when you get protein powder. You can get like, the gluten-free oats if you want, make them organic, do you. Organic coconut yogurt. Mix that together. And then you can add, if you want, like a little spices, like obviously 'tis the seas. You could do some pumpkin pie spice or some cinnamon. You could do like pumpkin yogurt or like some pumpkin puree in there. And then like drop some blueberries or whatnot. And in the morning, like, have like a protein yogurt. I wonder how open he is to other foods within his macros. If he's open to other foods within his macros, then I'm like interested to see what she does. But I think that I need to know how much fat he allows himself and how much oil usage. Also, can she use tahini? Okay. Um, Okay, our last couple is Greta and Matthew. Honey. Okay, this LOL for me very hardcore. We open on a very brand new Omnius couple pic and look at these resting bitch faces all around. Look at where they are. I was like, how can you be so pissed? Look, you're sitting on a beautiful bench log overlooking like a man-made lake in the countryside of England. She's like, there's so many old people here. Look at her. She doesn't have her Hazel. He's looking at her like, why won't you accept half of a drawer? They dress wildly different. Like their styles are wildly different. For I think how like sensitive and cerebral they both are. They both are very sensitive and cerebral. Actually, I'm not quite sure how sensitive he is. She is. It's interesting. So we get a win for her, which I love a win for her. And the win is that they're looking at rental properties, which is low key what she wanted him to do before his dumb fuck, but he didn't. And he has a real estate agent. His name is Nigel. And on the way there, they're checking out places with character, which I loved. And we realize for her, she really wants a place that's urban. She wants to be able to walk to a coffee shop. I get that. I do get that because driving sucks and you can't be like, and to be isolated can be a little depressing. So to be able to just walk outdoors and then just get to a place and then also be able to leave society and be back within your own home quickly is just, it is a gift. However, I know there's a whole case for countrysideness and nature. And I think that where they live, it kind of looks like you can have a little bit of both. I mean, obviously, again, looking at them pouting on this bench, that looks not urban. She definitely wants young people. I like that for her. Like I like the idea that she has a lot of friends. She wants to kind of recreate the life that she had just with him, which is bring Hazel to a place where they can have intimate, fun friend nights with young people over, but also interesting matcha lattes in the day. She wants a place that has matcha lattes. Now, when they're looking at rental properties, it's always interesting to be like, okay, how much money do you have and who's paying for what? He's seemingly going to pay for this. And they've been living at his parents. So we're like, okay, what is on the table and what's available to us? Nigel sets up the first house, and as they walk in, of which is a beautiful home, which is like a yeah, like a man, not a home, a freestanding 3-bedroom home. We get the shot of Greta. My God, yes, on brand with another big, poofy sleeved, smocked waist dress, honey. A Doen, honey, a Hill House. I mean, every one of them. Every one of them. Which is only funny because then we see him and he's wearing kind of like a risky business esque Ferris Bueller. It's kind of like late 80s, like striped shirt. They look like they're in two different places. He looks like he's in Havana, and she looks like she's in Paris. Okay. They're looking around, and Greta's kind of getting overwhelmed. Greta definitely will like speak up to when she's not happy, but she's not one to right a wrong with a solution. She's kind of a little bit of a whiner. I'm just going to say that. So they go through this house, and as they're going through it, it's too many bedrooms. And they're like, well, one can be an office and one can be a nursery. And they kind of joke with Nigel over, looking into the future and if they'll have kids and they'll have maybe twins. And it's a joke. Greta takes this insularly and gets sensitive about it. This is where we get her secret. She has a secret, which is her secret is She has not told Matthew that she's having second thoughts about having kids. So this is much too much space. Now, at this point, besides that, I'm like, you're literally a walking Goldilocks in Three Little Pigs. Everything is like either too big or too small. I think it'd be kind of great if like Greta got in there and maybe just like picked up a for rent booklet. You know, they have those for rent booklets. Maybe not. Or I don't know, go online. The thing about England is that it's the same language that she speaks. I don't understand why Greta can't be finding places if she has so many opinions. Because it does seem like Matthew's already failed her by like the drawer situation. And I think maybe she should take it upon herself to teach him her sensibilities, her tastes, her wants. She's like, yeah, I just think it's maybe too much space. And the way she says that to Matthew after is like she's passively aggressively wanting him to be like, oh, yeah, totally. It's too much space. And now, some things he's obviously very daft about, but some things she's just going to have to like take the reins. And I mean, if she has certain proclivities and certain wants about this apartment, I think that she's going to have to be the one, honey, to be like, I want it to be in a point 0.5 walking distance to this matcha place. It obviously has to have cats. I'm looking for like, 1+1, like maybe like a bedroom and a loft, like, a little like workspace for both of us is fine. We can save some money, be closer to the matcha place so I can spend money on my matchas. I'm just making up for the matcha, but obviously cat food's gonna be expensive. They're gonna need a place to have multiple cats. I mean, it's hard to have a one bedroom and like more than two cats. It's more, I'm gonna say more than one cat. I'm gonna say more than one cat. Unless you have one of those cats, listen, you know how sometimes there's two cats? I don't have cats. Sometimes when people have two cats, they have one cat that like doesn't exist, lives in the closet. Like you as a guest in this home will never see that one cat. So in that way, then that person's two cats become really one cat in that place. All that to say, I want her to kind of be able to get what she wants by making some moves and decisions herself. And I'm hoping that maybe if she did that, I wonder if that would make him feel like there'd be less pressure on him, and therefore he would be able to do the things he needs to do for her better, in a better way, more effectively, whilst learning, the way that she likes to do things. She's always upset. Yeah. I would also be unsure, like I wonder if she's unsure if she wants kids, because I wonder if she's unsure if she will ever love any entity more than a cat slash Hazel. I wonder if there's a smart part of her that's like, I don't think I'm going to like my kid as much as this cat. And so I wonder if I should second guess having the kid, not fuck the kid up by obviously loving cats more than that person. Because already it feels like she likes cats more than Matthew, who's supposed to be like her loved soulmate that she moved across the Atlantic Sea for. So, or I wonder if she's unsure of having kids with Matthew because maybe she feels like he won't listen or won't be able to kind of get on board with the life that she would need or want to have the kids, like more storage space. Like, I want to connect the dots a little more. Ah, yes. If you haven't yet, please like this. Please subscribe. Please let the little algorithm know, honey, that you've been enjoying your time, like a little light switch. Make sure that thumb is up. She's going to let Matthew know about the kid situation. I guess by also being like, so we really don't need a second bedroom. I wonder if he's going to talk to his parents about it. Yeah, you know, I like Greta and Matthew a lot because I do feel like they're very sort of like interesting in that we don't get to see these kinds of personalities that much on the show. It's not like one of the stereotypes of like, an older, way older lady and, as is like Petia, and a young guy, Dylan, whose mom doesn't want him to be with an older lady because he can't have kids, which is, annoying because we've seen that. Or like the hyper restrictive, you know, Muslim man who, has to understand Western ways. Like, I don't like that, obviously. So I'm happy I have little hiccups that we get kind of this like nerdy couple that keep having really small fights over dumb, mundane things like a drawer or a house being too big to rent that he's wanting to pay for. I don't know. It's just okay. Now, her not wanting to have kids is not a dumb thing, but I kind of wish that she had set it up a little more like that's a secret. How much does he want to have kids? And have they talked about it? And does she want him to prove that he's like a good dad to Hazel first? Anyway, so my loves, that pretty much was the end of the episode. I'm into it. I'm very happy to see what happens. I was like very excited to clock all the beauty products and like make a dumb post about it. I obviously I obviously think the best part of the episode is Chloe for some reason telling off Johnny's friend. Just the way in which I was feministly happy for a young girl to make an older guy feel dumb filled me with warmth. It's like it was like a Grinch moment for me. I also feel like low key Johnny liked it. Johnny likes that she's feisty. Johnny likes that she like is a little bit jealous and possessive. I think that maybe like there's a part of him that feels like she is into him because of that. And she is into him. And I think that that's kind of the balance and the line between caring about someone and your future with them and knowing that you deserve to feel like this person cares about your security and your Chloe wants Johnny to know that he takes in empathy for like her when he makes decisions about his life, right? And so she's upset that he is seemingly being like, "You're not gonna let me go with my friends," when she's like, "No, bitch, I'm not gonna let you go out and drink with some asshole that's gonna like want you to cheat on me because you're both flirting with girls there." That's what we both know that's what I want not to happen. So like don't fuck around with this bullshit. Like again, you can go in the daytime and kick a ball around in the park, honey, and that's fine. And then afterward, I will come by and then all the girlfriends can go and drink beer with you all afterward. You guys don't need to go by yourself out like drinking tequila when I'm not around at night to bars. Like that's not necessary. And I tend to agree with her. This isn't like a married couple where like the woman's like, you can never hang out with your friends. Johnny's like job is to party. So I mean, I don't know. I'm on Team Chloe. All right. Oh, you caught alive, and yet I have to go. Oh, we've been on talking for an hour, my loves. On the docket, though, talk a little longer. Is tell me what's happening with you. It's Halloween week, which is exciting. I don't know what I'm going to be or if I will even go out, but I do think that I tend to have last minute inspiration for Halloween costumes as plans suddenly arise. And in those moments, I found inspiration and greatness. So we'll see. Um, But again, the docket is Sister Wives will be happening tomorrow. Is that what I said? I'll read it to you right now. Yes. Okay, so let's do Sister Wives, the episode that happened on Sunday, Wednesday, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we'll discuss the Love is Blind Tell All Friday, Halloween at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so we can have a little Halloween live. I'm excited about talk about Sister Wives, even though it's always like the slowest moving, dumbest thing. I don't care. I can obviously talk about it for a long time. Love is Blind is the tell all. And I mean, obviously, we know if you watch the season, it was wildly inconclusive, ineffective. No one found love. Okay. And, the tell all, I don't know how watchable it's going to be. But I will tell you that we'll talk about it and dumb things that happen and just like have a little Halloween check in. So I think having Halloween just kind of there to like back it up with some maybe more interesting content will be good. Also, I'll do a deep dive to see because sometimes these reality stars make last minute plays online as the tell alls and as the weddings happen to get a fame boost so that they can like get a podcast or something happening after the tell all stops airing. So, in that vein, by Friday, I will do a social media where are they now or like juice scoop where we kind of like do a roundup of things I could have found out since tie up loose ends, get some, juicy deets, whatnot. And if, of course, if you find out any information, go ahead and tell me too. The ways you can tell me is like all over the internet. Let me tell you how. Of course, you're on YouTube. Please go subscribe to my YouTube, hit the notification bell, like the videos, always comment after they go up as well. Like your favorite part of whatever dumb thing I watched with you guys or stupid thing I said or your own comment or thing I missed, who knows, or what you're watching. Make it personal. I always write back, or at least I try. Most of the time I do. Also, you can go to my Substack. Of course, I talked about the products that were in this episode and other fun deep dive long form writings exist. Chris Farah on Substack, Chris Farah on YouTube. Of course, I'm Chris L. Farah. The L is for Lebanese on TikTok and Instagram. Those exist. My God, I'm on Facebook. You can like my page, Chris Farah. Of course, Vanity Farah is my private group. And I try and post all over the schedule and when I'm going to go live. So you can go to any of those places, leave me a comment and tell me what you think or what you're watching. So I'm so super into it. Tina, hi, how are you? Oh, what a beautiful backdrop. What a beautiful landscape. And then we'll get in. So we have those on the docket: Sister Wives, Love is Blind, but also low key a special Halloween live, just in case it sucks. And that's it, my babes. I hope that you're having, an autumny, sensitive fall where things fall away and we like bear witness to them. We see them in their splendor change colors and fall away. And we have to sit with a certain kind of, when winter comes, we'll have to sit with a certain barrenness. But therein lies the promise that spring is around the corner and that the leaves that changed and that died make way for brand new leaves. And our branches are filled again. Autumn is a special way because, it has us have to come to terms with death in a way. Not to be super dark, but it is. You have to come to terms with death in autumn because you're seeing it. It isn't like, and obviously, if you live in California or places that don't have seasons, this is a different conversation like me, but in theory, when winter comes, things are already kind of gone. You can't just realize then. Or, I mean, you're going to have some mental health issues, God bless. So I feel like autumn is this sitting in the understanding of what's to come, maybe grieving it or understanding that so that when it comes, it's doesn't hit as hard. But again, these things come in cycles. And autumn's counterpart is spring. Just like, summer and summer and winter are sister and brother. Yeah, in spring and fall. It's like, that's that kind of like, it's that death and rebirth. It's the circle of life kind of thing. But autumn, it's interesting because there's like a kind of introspection in autumn. It's like the weather changes. Often I get sick. Often I get allergies. You want to stay in more. Maybe the light changes. It requires you to kind of like sit in things more and be present more. And if you do that, and then I think you're more prepared for what things are to come. And I think that then also you're prepared knowing that everything changes, just like a season, that nothing is stagnant forever. Death doesn't always remain in death. Birth happens. It's so crazy. Fall's crazy. Seasons are crazy. But anyway, if you're feeling any sort of thing, I hope that there's some sort of peace in knowing that I think you're supposed to. It teaches you something if you're paying attention to it. It begs you to pay attention to it so that you do learn the thing, so that you can know it for when the moment comes that you truly need to. I know that, like, to be able to understand death or whatever is not something that, like, my mind can wrap around at my age yet. And I think that I fear it so much that it causes me, like, undue strife and, like, loved ones, and stuff like that for others. Just like, conversely, if I could evolve enough to accept it as a part of everything, that I would give myself a certain amount of relief and peace. So that's why I'm saying all this stuff, because if I can talk myself into it, I'll be better off. And you guys, I think that you guys maybe know more than me, so you can tell me. What do you think? What do you think? Clocks go back Saturday because it's 'tis the season. I love you guys. All right, my babes. I'll see you later, okay? Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art. That could be a pumpkin. That could be your Halloween costume. That could be a last minute decorated door. All right, babes. Be fearless. Ah, yeah. Yeah, be fearless. Yeah. Honey, no spook can scare you if you're fearless. So, my loves, okay, I will talk to you later. I'll see you tomorrow and Friday. Thank you so much for being here and sharing some time and space for me and listening to this fucking voice talk by itself for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, bye.